Hey there, it's India Vlogs here, and today I'm going to be telling you about the time that I saw Beyonce in the middle of a thunderstorm. Hey y'all, long time no talk. I'm back on this channel today because I want to get back into the swing of things on this channel. I think story times are so fun and funny to watch, and I always wanted to do one. So it's not just the thunderstorm that makes the story so crazy and wacky. It's just everything that led up to it and everything that happened afterwards. Just a little background information about me. I am a big Beyonce fan. I've written articles about her for Teen Vogue and other publications. I've seen Beyonce in concert before 3 years ago when she did the Mrs. Carter tour. 4 of us went to go see Beyonce. It's me, my best friend Kashawn, and her sister, and my mom. My mom loves Beyonce just as much as I do, if not more, and we saw Beyonce in concert together 3 years ago. Everything is going good, you know, we're just playing lemonade around the house, getting ready, getting excited. We saw her in Raleigh. All week they were saying that it was like a 90% chance of rain in Raleigh, like severe thunderstorms. So we didn't mind or whatever, you know, I'm natural, so I don't really care about getting rained on. It was just like in the back of our mind, like, oh, if it rains, it'll probably rain before or after, it won't be a big deal. Cool. So we get on the road and, you know, we're playing like all of Beyonce's albums, like from Dangerously in Love and whatever, because it's like a 3.5 hour drive from where we live. About an hour and a half into the drive, we get pulled over. And it was just a cop or whatever saying that we were speeding, which it didn't feel like we were speeding. We were on the interstate, so I mean, I don't know, but he said we were speeding, and we had a rental car, so he was asking questions like, why doesn't your license plate match blah blah blah, and we're like, okay, we got a rental because we're going out of town, and it was just a whole bunch of back and forth, and he took forever, and it's just like, okay, we're on like a time crunch right now, we're trying to get to Raleigh and blah blah blah. Anyway, so that was just like the first event that kind of kicked off the crazy day. One of my best friends called me and asked me, am I in Raleigh yet? And I'm like, you know, we're on the way. And she said they're saying that if it starts lightning and stuff before the concert, they're going to cancel it. And so when she said that, I was just like, whoa, no. But I didn't want to relay the message to everybody else in the car because I didn't want them to get all worked up. So I was just like, well, okay, hopefully that doesn't happen. Hopefully it doesn't come to that. It already looks like it was going to start raining, so I was hoping like that was the storm and it was blowing over by the time the concert started. And so finally we got to the hotel. It starts raining, and at this point it's like an hour and a half before the show is set to start. The hotel that we were staying at, it was supposed to be 4 minutes away from the stadium, which is something that we planned so we wouldn't have to go so far to the stadium. We get dressed and we put it in our GPS, and it's saying 28 minutes. And so by this point, it's like 7 o'clock. The show starts at 7:30. It says we have 28 minutes to get there. And we're just trying to figure out, like, is it a mistake? And then I think, like, oh, they're probably incorporating traffic. So they were incorporating traffic, because when we got in the car and we made our way to the stadium, traffic was at a standstill. Like, it was a mile back and a mile ahead, and it was to the point where we couldn't even see the stadium. We were so far back. So at this point, we're like, oh my gosh, we're gonna miss DJ Khaled. We didn't know if like J. Cole or somebody was gonna be like a surprise guest. We were just thinking maybe he would show up because he's from North Carolina. We're just thinking the worst right now, basically. So I called my other friend, the one that I talked to earlier, to see what was going on because she was already in the show. So I call her and she's like, yeah, you know, it hasn't started yet, so we're still cool. Like, we're frustrated, but we're still cool. She texts me a few minutes later. We're still at a standstill. We probably only inched up maybe a few feet, and she texts me and says DJ Khaled is out. And so then I was just like, oh my gosh, we're gonna miss DJ Khaled. And so at this point we're getting frustrated because we wanted to see DJ Khaled and stuff like that. So then my friend texts me and she was like, she just texted J. Cole. She didn't say anything else. She just said J. Cole. And so my heart kind of dropped a little bit. And everybody was like, what's going on? I was like, nothing. Like, I'm not even gonna say anything, because if J. Cole was really there, they would find out later. It's no point of them getting upset because we're in the car and just sitting there mad. So I didn't want to say anything. We're all wound so tight. We're all frustrated. Traffic is at a standstill. We can't even see the stadium from where we're at. We're trying to figure out if there's a place we can pull over and just walk to the stadium by this point. So my friend texts me back, and then she says, oh, never mind, he's not out yet, or he's not here yet, or something, or she said something like that. And so at that point I was like, okay, I feel good enough to tell them that J. Cole is supposed to be there, but he's not there yet. So at this point we're like, okay, we need to make a plan, because we can't sit in traffic. It's after 7:30 at this point. We've been sitting in traffic for like 45 minutes. The stadium is supposed to only be 4 minutes away driving, so it can't be that long walking. So we're trying to figure out like where's a good place that we can go, park our car, and walk. When we're trying to figure this out, we see a large group of people cutting through like these woods that's to the left of us. And I'm like, okay, they look like they're going to the concert. So I see like a bunch of people like looking out the window and just parking their cars somewhere, and then they're walking over there. So we roll down the window and we're like, hey, where are y'all going? Are y'all going to the concert? Like, where did y'all park? So they said they parked at some building or whatever. So we kind of try to get all the way over, park into, I assume it was an apartment complex or something. I don't even know what it was, but we did that, and we crossed like this busy freaking intersection, and we cut through these woods with this group of people that we don't even know. Finally we get to the stadium, we check our tickets, and we find our seats, and everything is good. We're like breathing hard, like, whoo, we're in here or whatever. So it's like the intermission. We missed DJ Khaled. We ended up missing him. We're sitting in our seat, and the girl on the other side of me kind of looks at me, and she's like, oh, just to let you know, our friends are coming. And so I look at her, and I look at our seats. I'm trying to figure out what is she talking about? So I'm like, what do you mean? And she's like, oh, my friends are coming. They're going to be on their way, just to let you know. And I'm like, okay, well, these are our seats. She's like, oh yeah, someone was saying that a lot of people from this section had duplicate tickets. I know she's lying. And I'm just kind of staring at her like, this is not the time. We basically ran to get here. We were frustrated for about half an hour, and now you're saying that you want to squeeze your friends into my 2 seats. So I'm just looking at her. She's saying all this stuff, and then finally she's just like, well, you know, we'll work it out. And I was just like, well, yeah, I just want to make sure that they're not trying to sit in my seats that I paid for, because your friends obviously did not pay. And so then some girls did come. They weren't really in my space, so I didn't really care. I don't care about what they were doing. As long as y'all aren't getting in my space or trying to sit in my seat, then I don't care, you know, whatever. So of course, finally Beyonce comes out. After all that chaos, Beyonce comes out. She comes out to formation. Everything is going so well. Everyone's screaming at the top of their lungs. There's this freaking huge screen. The screen that she had was so big. Like, if this was Beyonce, the screen was like the size of my whole arm. Like, I'm not even exaggerating. It looked like this. That screen was freaking huge. So she comes out, and you know, she's doing formation, and everyone's getting hyped up. We're having such a great time singing, dancing. Beyonce's doing her thing. Everyone's having fun. And then I noticed in the distance purple lightning. And so I'm just like, you know, it's just flashes. You know, it'll blow over. That means the storm is far away. And it starts drizzling a little bit. And, you know, my outfit had like a hood to it. So I put my hood up, and, you know, we're just trying to ignore it. It starts coming down heavier, like from a drizzle to actual light rain. And the flashes are turning into actual lightning strikes, so you can actually see the distinction in the cloud. I'm kind of nervous because Beyonce, one of her band members, comes out with her electric guitar. It's actually raining and lightning right now, so like, are they okay up there? Like, Beyonce is singing in the microphone and her band is playing all these instruments. Is this like safe? But I was like, okay, you know what, if it wasn't safe, they would say something. I'm cool. So Beyonce's singing Rocket, a song off her album, and you know, the lyrics are like rocket to waterfall or whatever. So she's trying to kind of incorporate the rain with her song. So she's like rocket to waterfall. She's doing all these things, and it's working out. But after she sings Rocket, the lights come on. And when the lights come on, the person over the intercom was like, all he said was fans, and everybody just started booing, because I feel like everybody at that point knew that something was about to happen. He was just like, fans. everyone starts booing. He's like, because of the weather, this concert will be suspended. And so the girl behind me, some girl like behind me, she was like, F that, F you, F everybody. Like, she's so mad. Like, in my head I'm rolling my eyes, but I kind of felt like something like that was about to happen because it was just so much going on with the rain and the lightning. My mom's face was like, it was just so much going on around me, everybody's reaction. But the man over the intercom was like, you know, please seek shelter, but you have to leave the actual stadium for your safety. The concert is not canceled, it's just suspended until the weather calms down, basically. So everybody starts clapping about that. We just kind of exit the stadium. They wanted us to go to like an adjacent building, but a lot of people just stayed inside the area. They just left the actual stadium part. There's so many people standing outside. Like, we're not really in shelter. We're just kind of standing outside under like a hooded area. We're just kind of waiting to see what's going on. And I'm calling my friends trying to see what they're gonna do. We're probably waiting for like 30 minutes. So police officers are coming, trying to clear the crowd because there's so many people that are not seeking shelter because no one wanted to like walk far in the rain and have to walk back. So people are kind of just like standing around. And so the police officers come, they have like bullhorns and they're yelling at us and they're like, everybody leave, everybody leave. Some police officers told my friends that Beyonce left. They told them that she left, she was already in the airport and the concert was canceled. Now mind you, the person over the intercom said that the concert was not canceled, it was just suspended. But some police officers were telling people like, oh, you might as well go, Beyonce's leaving anyway. And some people did actually leave because of that. So I feel really bad because, you know, they probably were just listening to the officers, taking their word for it, and they were basically lying because the person over the intercom was saying that the concert was suspended. So we're just sitting there waiting, and I'm just so aggravated at this point. Like, at first I was just kind of going with the flow, but I started getting aggravated because I'm thinking like, if they reschedule the concert, we're gonna have to come all the way back up here. You know, I took a day off from work for this. It's raining. All these things happened before we got here. We got pulled over, blah blah blah. And I'm just thinking everything's kind of welling up in my head. And I'm getting aggravated a little bit. And so then I'm just trying to think about what's gonna happen. Like, okay, is she gonna refund us our tickets? What are we gonna do about the rest of the show? If she gives me the money back, can I go to another show? Like, I'm just thinking about all the things. And then finally the man says, fans, and everybody starts clapping this time, which is funny. He's like, fans, the show is gonna be back on. Everyone go back inside the stadium. So I'm like relieved. Everyone's relieved or whatever. Everyone's going back in the stadium. So we go back inside. The seats are freaking wet now. I was kind of thinking like, I wonder how many people left because I know some people were thinking about just leaving because it was late. It was like 11:30 by this time. Mind you, the concert started at 7:30. I was just wondering, like, I hope like when the concert comes back, like the stadium isn't half empty because that wouldn't be fun. We're just waiting for Beyonce to come back on, and she comes back on. She's singing Daddy Lessons and stuff. And I kind of look around and it looks like, I know obviously everyone didn't stay because I mean there were people right beside me that didn't stay, but just looking in the crowd, it looks like everybody came back. Like at least 50,000 people came back. It didn't even look like there was any like sparse sections. Like, it was crazy because there's so many people that had to leave the stadium and that everybody came back. I just thought that was so crazy. And so then Beyonce singing, and then she started singing 1+1, I believe. She came back out, she looked all refreshed, like her hair is all curly and stuff now. The night before she was at the Met Gala, and then the night before that was the Atlanta concert. So if I was Beyonce, I would be backstage taking a nap. But she looked very refreshed, and she came back out, she was singing 1+1, and she looked, I think this was her first time really being able to look at the audience, and she was like, I can't believe y'all came back. Or she said something along those lines, but I couldn't believe that everybody came back. But I'm like, why are you surprised? It looked so genuine, like she really couldn't believe that everybody was back or whatever. She said it more than once. She was like, I can't believe y'all came back, like y'all really ride or die fans or whatever. So she started singing 1+1, and she did so good. And she was just like, you know, I'm very humbled by this. And she started, her eyes started watering up. And I was like, is she really surprised that people came back to the concert? Like, I don't know. I just don't understand how she was surprised knowing her fan base. But I don't know. I'm good at reading people. She seemed really surprised that people came back. She did like a Prince tribute, a Vanity tribute. I'm so glad that we were able to see the second half because the majority of my favorite songs were performed in the second half. My favorite songs from Lemonade were performed in the first half of the show, but my like all-time favorite Beyonce songs like Crazy in Love and Countdown and Blow and those type of songs were performed in the second half. So it was so fun. Even though, you know, my hair is wet and, you know, we were so frustrated, it was just a really good time. Like the sets were much brighter and she did Freedom. And now I know why they had to suspend it or whatever, because she did this part with Freedom and it was kind of like they were in the water. So now I understand, like, okay, obviously she's not going to be dancing in the water while it's lightning. The Freedom performance might have been one of my favorite of the night just because of the message that it has and the way that it was executed, like them in the water, and it was also incorporating like some like African dance and even a little step. So I was all the way here for that. It started raining again. People started getting kind of nervous. I mean, it was definitely heavy enough for you to just be getting soaking wet since we're just like kind of standing in it. Beyonce was just, you know, just performing like nothing was going on. And then she even made a comment, you know, saying that we think that the rain is a burden, but really it's something beautiful. It's really something, it makes you reflect and, you know, just kind of take it all in. Don't basically be focused on the fact that it's raining. I feel like even though the stadium was like twice as big as when I saw her 3 years ago, she was kind of more, I don't want to say more humbled, but she was kind of more connected with the audience. It was just kind of like, in a strange way, more intimate. I don't know. She was just kind of talking to the audience saying, you know, when she was singing Me, Myself, and I, you need to love yourself first before you can love anyone else. Any other relationship is a bonus. She was like, loving yourself first is important because God lives inside of you. I don't know, it was just it was really, really good. Despite all of the craziness, I enjoyed myself, even in the rain and everything. My hair was luckily braided up. I had it in French braids, so it wasn't too crazy afterwards. And yeah, it was just a really good concert. After the concert, I definitely wanted some merch. I love this poster, so I'm gonna frame it. But it says Formation World Tour at the top. I tried to leave, but lo and behold, remember when I said we cut through the woods? Nobody could remember exactly what part of the woods we cut through. So we wandered around the parking lot for, oh, I don't know, 30 minutes. It was a mess. Like, our day was a mess. Our feet were so soaked and muddy. And we finally found like 3 people, luckily, who parked. Because we could have just been following 3 random people. But we found 3 people. And they were going to the same place. We had to cross that busy intersection again, and it was just a mess. After this long day, we get back to our hotel. The concert itself was amazing. I would suggest anybody to go see it. When you go to a Beyonce concert, you're gonna get your money's worth. Like, it's not gonna be anything slack. She's gonna sound good, she's gonna dance, there's gonna be a lot of visuals. Like, it's gonna be a concert worth going to. Thank y'all for listening to my story. It might not sound crazy to y'all, but it was crazy to me. I guess in the moment, it was so hectic. Let me know if you've seen Beyonce in concert or you're planning to, and let me know what other kind of videos you would like to see on this channel. Of course, I'm going to do some more hair videos, maybe some more sit down and talk videos, but just let me know. And thank you for tuning into my channel, and I'll talk to you in my next video. Bye!